Joey here. Should I say that at the start? What's good, guys? Joey here. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, what's good, guys? That's how I normally start. I'll be like, what's good, guys? Welcome back. And then I just get started. But welcome back to another episode. In this episode, that's how I used to do it. Okay, anyway, what we doing? So okay. I felt guilty about what's her name again? Elizabeth. About Elizabeth being the only cat down here, and then I was unwilling to bring Storm down here, and I was like, first of all, just so you know, I did a bunch of work. I did a bunch of work, so I know we starting off just getting through things, but I did a bunch of work, literally. And I felt bad about keeping Storm outside, and you know I did like Storm sitting here, but it's kind of awkward to have him in a storm, you know. And I decided, since Elizabeth was going down there, and we love Salem, obviously we love Salem, like that's our first cat. We love Salem so much, more than Elizabeth. We put Salem down here, and Elizabeth, and perfect. And then the Storm is now in the house, so that's what we did with the cat situation. And I love it. And Zola's not really outside. We had poor Storm outside. Oh, we had Storm outside. I'm sorry, Storm. So, what else? Put a bunch of, okay, let's just walk through the world, I guess. I did kill another Wither. And, to get another beacon, so I'll show you over there. I gotta show you the cherry blossom spot, because that's where we put our other beacon, because that's where I'm getting my cherry wood. We already know about that. I don't think there's anything really down here, actually, and there shouldn't be, because this is not where I spent my time since the last recording, which has been like a day or two, because yeah, you've seen all this stuff. Should we name every cat? I was thinking no, but I was thinking no. I think they work better as a group of them, and not really. See, this is where names come in, where names are kind of, I want to say pedantic. I don't even know what that means. Hold up. I know what semantic means. Formality. I forgot what I was even saying. Whatever. Names are kind of, formal, I guess. Yeah. I guess that works. I guess that's pretty good. Of where they're only useful to an extent. Like, you are more than your name, but they're only good to an extent. That's what I mean. They're good at representing something, but at the end of the day, those dogs and cats in there are way more than they don't even need to be named to be influential in the world type shit. So they don't need names because they're internally important anyway, without a name anyway. Names are just really for a different purpose than worth or presence. But okay, so let's just go. Okay, we gotta go to the Nether. Let's go to the main build, and I will tell you I did take out another mountain. Let's not go to the Nether. We're gonna actually do this a little bit awkward. We're gonna go here first. We're gonna go back to, instead of going to the village, we're gonna go back. I think we should fly to the village. We're gonna go through the Nether. We're gonna go here. This is where the other beacon is. We're gonna go back to the house. We're gonna go into the Nether. We're gonna leave the Nether and go back out the way we came, and then we're gonna show a flyover the village. And that's the best way to look at it for for what I'm looking at. Okay, so I got a couple beehives while mining these trees. But yeah, so we noticed the haste, we noticed the beacon. Yes, there's a beacon still over there. Actually, when I took the beacon from over here and put it over here, then I wanted a beacon over there really badly. and plus I was mining mountains, so I put a beacon over there. And I actually note I have no more wither skulls, which is important because that was kind of weird that I have an overflow of wither skulls, but that might be inciting a wither farm, um, that we may be looking at. But so, hi B, I didn't even know you made that sound. That was a, I learned so much by putting headphones in because I will play this game mute perfectly fine. Um, because the sounds are kind of annoying. But with the sounds and the immersion, I am hearing a bunch of different sounds. Like it feels like every episode I'm like, wow, I never heard that before. Even though I've played this game for so long. But that stuff is new. That's actually a key reason of why. Let's go to the storage farm real quick. A key reason of why I haven't heard these sounds because they're new and I stopped playing. I didn't stop playing. I played less, I guess. Yeah, I'll just say that. So we're gonna go through the Nether. I played less. I'll say I played less. I played on servers. I was with my ex, so I was doing more relationship stuff. I wasn't fully playing the game anymore. But now I play the game. Cool. So I put these slabs down. I don't even know if I showed you this tunnel. There's tunnels to the... I didn't. So there's the tunnel now. I put these slabs down because some mobs don't spawn. And it's a quick little run. Honestly, I go through it with a firework. So obviously I didn't because I don't want to go through that portal. We want to fly through it. Note that I'm using 1 fight duration. And it's pretty much the same. I do prefer 3 because 3 is so boosty. And I don't know, just boostier. And I guess I got used to 3. Like it just boosts. Like I would have to go 1 into the sky. But 1 is cheaper, way cheaper. Okay, go back. I don't know if I didn't do this on episode. Basically, my thing broke. My storage farm broke. It broke. These are 1. And so I found an easy way to fix it. So now, before I was mining through there. When I fixed it, I was actually just mining through there. But I actually decided to take the time. This was 4 seconds, mind you. And make it so I can touch all the areas I would need to touch behind here. You gotta make it fluent for the engineer. So basically the comparators on these 3 in particular broke. 1 was flashing, 1 was just off. So I had to redo it. And then in process of doing that, I learned how to, I have gone through the process of not learning, but fixing these so I can be fluent in it. So I know the vibe, the process of fixing it. Cause I already knew how to fix it and the components. I just didn't know how easy it would be. Cause it's on top of here. The harder one will be here, but you see I have this and what is here? The harder one is here. No, it gotta be, where is it? Is it here? Oh, I guess I am confusion. It's down here. Okay. I'm a bot. You see the process? So I unlocked the process, cool. But that broke, and what it did was it put all the items. I actually have another world where I saved the world, and so I have a duplicate world, and in that world there's just a bunch of items in here. And I fixed it, but there was just items of everything in that chest was going into these 3 chests. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so that's 3. Those are 1. This is 3 still. And yes, so we do have storage for both of them. Now let's get to the main meat of the adventure. And yeah, so let's just get over there. And words do it justice. text, but the visual will do it justice too, and words will show you afterwards the excitement about it, because we can see that the village is pink. Okay, that is a flex. And the church was the main event. So we have a big church. This is visually crazy from the last episode of straight up. There used to be a mountain here. There used to be two mountains, and they're gone. So we see how flat this land is, and the pink is doing it justice. And this church, and we have a guest here that we need to name. So we do have another naming. I was thinking Angelica, but I think it should be a boy name, actually. So I think Too Many Girls is kind of approaching us. So I'll think a boy name, and yes, it'll keep the pink, because let's not be obtuse and inherently sexist at the end of the day. Because wow, how does a color have a gender? Is crazy work for our ancestors to decide to fall into that framework. But come on now. And it just, yes, so we want to fight against that. And this is a beautiful church though, so I will say it does have a cross, and I will note that we're gonna put anti-beliefs in here, and I think that it should still keep the cross. And yeah, so really a Trojan horse is what I was thinking of, a type of church that we're going for. So basically it's a classic church, which was interesting. There were bookshelves here. These are not bookshelves, these are the other ones, where I'm gonna put in, where book and quills, and I'm gonna put my own written stuff. And in this one exactly, I want to put song lyrics, so 6 songs, and then I want to put 6 documents of my beliefs in my works. And I do want to make an atheist like TikTok channel. I want to do that so bad, and I am thinking of not putting anything in these books until I do that, where I can have better formulated ideas, because I would have prompts to look at and stuff to look at. And I would have a catalog of content that I have already dissected, where I can put these formulated beliefs in there. So when you're reading it, it is condensed, and yes. So that's what I want for that. This was fun to make. I want a torch up there. And then it shows a good, and then the other one, Aluna, the other gas, Aluna. And I still think that was really loud, first of all. And I still think that we need a unique boy name. Could Zola be a boy name? Is the question I thought of. And there was such a process. For the first hill, I had to bring all that stuff. I was gonna shoot a video. The chests used to be over there, and there weren't as many. No, there were as many, because there were chests here and chests in the sky from where I removed the hill. And I'll note how I architecture the hill, which I really like, actually. And it has gone to my attention where I would have to continue that all the way up. But the chests were over there, and I don't want it to be a girl. I firmly want this to be a boy name, which I was actually coming up names without thinking about gender. This villager ran all the way over here. Whatever. There's not even going to be a bed over here. And I don't know exactly what I want for. I want to note that I have lit the water up, and I like the blue-green tint. That is real cool stuff. I have not lit it up to connect. Yeah, to even connect. But it is lit up, which is cool. Let's walk around this area. I didn't put sandstone. I did put sandstone in these ponds. And obviously I'm thinking about putting sandstone in those ponds. I don't know if that indent is gonna be there. It could be there to connect and make a bridge, which I love. And this is gonna be a little note that these connect. Let's put some water in there. I can't see the water anymore, mind you. With this texture pack on. So, Mojang, stop watching my... no, I'm kidding. Exactly. I can't see the water. I hope other people bring that up. Not Mojang for me to be talking, but I hope other people alert that can't really see the water, which is interesting. I don't think it's a big deal though, because I don't know how that would play out. But I don't know how that would. I don't know how other people view it. So let's go up here. Because what else do we want to think about? So that's cool. A little bridge right there would be cool. To fit that caveat of the land. I was thinking a bunch of pretty houses to lengthen out this village. Thinking about keeping that church. I don't know. I noticed there's another church over there. So to keep it would be in its justified realm. And I guess it does justify that little house that was on this mountain that actually formed the idea of even deleting a church in the first place, or deleting anything in the first place, was this house. But I did secure the mountain. I need to make that rounded more, how like this is rounded, even though it does get real flat. It gets flat. It's actually right there. It gets flat. But I didn't want to do, like, honestly, the idea behind that, let's go down there, was I didn't want to tear down that mountain. And to now be talking about re-texturing the mountain is annoying to have to think about. I do want a super speed horse, mind you. I will throw that in the video. I wanted to keep this the same, almost. But to have that there is really annoying. I'm thinking walkway along this, which is cool. I'm thinking it's given, I don't know why I want to say Roman. It's given a certain, it might not be Roman. I don't know my architect that well to be shouting out what type of style shit is, but I do know there is a type of architect that this is emulating, and I love that for it. And I don't know what type of, but I do know that it looks really nice, and it's an older type of style. This church is freaking magnificent. They keep standing here, which is annoying. I looked down at them, and that made me fail what I was trying to go for. This riptide thing is pretty fun. And yeah, so we're chilling. Our village just gained another partner, I guess, from that village, you know. And it gained a lot of land, which is the key point. That is You know, I know you get to see it in, and I see it and I explain it in like 15 minutes or however long it's been. That took time, but it didn't take that long. I had to gather the materials, which I already had. That's why I was doing that over there. You see where the pink went. Um, what are we gonna name our guest? Let's get him. I was bringing the gas up here. I noticed that he does not glide down. I don't know how to get him from the ground. Like when he flies way up there. Give me my lead. I don't know how to get him, but whatever. And he's kind of slow, but he's good for, he stays there. Like he'll stay here in this one spot, which is actually very nice. So I think the church is very beautiful. I love what I'm gonna do with it. I think the Pink Village, you know, and I was gonna record when I finished the church, but I didn't record yet, and I ended up wanting progress done. And then I was getting kind of tired after I did like 4 houses. It was actually 8 houses I did, and I needed to do more. And I just was like, do one more, do one more, do one more, and I did it. Cause you know how cause I took a break, like somewhere in the channel uploads, there's like a jump of months, and that was and the reason I got back on was cause I was like, let's just play Minecraft. Then when I was on the world, I was just like, I didn't even feel like playing Minecraft. I was just like, let's get something done. And it just, yeah, amplified pretty much to this, to all these recent recordings of what we've been doing has been amplification of just getting on. I have to sneeze. I'm gonna wait till I actually have to sneeze, because watch, I was gonna mute it and it makes a noise when I mute it, which is interesting. I don't think it's important. The sneeze went away, but yeah, I would mute it and it would just go away, and that is just so like wow worthy. Let's take a view from over there. I have a couple bee nests. I don't know the real plans now. I know the reason I flattened out this area to push the hill back was, and just so you know, this hill went up, so it went, dang, it did that, but over to here, and you can see it in the other videos. But it did come up, and it was pretty big. It was pretty expansive. It like went on this coastline. I think this was all hill of higher altitude, of meeting more of that altitude. And this guy is so freaking slow, but I enjoy that he'll just stay in the air like this. So what should we name him? The real test of how integrated gender norms would be in my brain would be, do I mess up his name by calling him, or his gender by calling him a her, even though it's a boy, because he's wearing pink. And yeah, and I don't think I would. It just depends, I guess, on your person. Okay, I was trying to get more of the crossing. The crossing. Like crossing up. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah. And I guess we could talk about it a little bit. Because, yeah, I really... This is really good, actually, because just know I have never... First of all, timing crazy, but to ignore timing, because... Come on now. Because it's just funny, because I needed a lightning strike. When it rains, it doesn't always... This is why this Riptide Trident is way better. Because when it rains, it doesn't always lightning strike. It sucks to be on such a slow mob when it is lightning striking, but it doesn't lightning strike, and that means you can't use the channeling enchantment, right? So that's annoying. But now it's lightning striking, so just pull that out. And cool. And we'll talk about religion in a second. Because let me tell you something. My reasoning is such a good reasoning. It's actually crazy. I could talk about it whenever. I'm going to make a whole TikTok channel about it. Because I think... And this thing needs less impaling. Because notice how it killed him. Hold up. Yeah, notice how it killed him. I don't know how to make it not kill him. Like, oh my god. And so I can't throw it directly at a creeper, or the creeper dies. Which is crazy work. We need a mob. We need a creeper to blow up. I don't even know who I want him. I just want him to blow up somebody. Yeah, so I don't know how to not kill him. You see them? You see my problem? I think you see it. But we could get... See, this is the solution. Creeper. We can get them by each other, right? And then just by killing one, you have... You will end up murdering the other. God damn it! Come on, come on. Right. And then let's do it in... Okay, how you get away from the creeper? Already? That didn't work. Cool. Okay. So back to what I was talking about. I don't believe in that cross in the slightest. And yeah, I think that summarizes it. I think that it really doesn't. That's why you would probably need a subject matter, because one of the things like I wouldn't believe in would be like with that lightning strike, and that be God timing. See, none of that. And it goes on a concrete of logic, and I feel like I would be ill prepared to talk about it, but I think preparing should be my motive of making a TikTok account. Cause yeah, I think if you have, cause one of my beliefs is an atheist should not return to being a Christian, because that means you did not get it. That means you just did not. You didn't get why we didn't believe, because we didn't believe. Not we, but see, I don't believe. Not because God does like suffering and stuff. I think that is just that is not why we don't believe. We don't believe because it's not possible. That's why we don't believe. This is why we don't believe. I'm saying we. This is why I don't believe. Cause, and yeah, and people get into it because God is like mean, especially in the Bible, because they read their Bible, and it's a valid point, and it's a interesting viewpoint and take on the matter, and dissects on why the Bible's not valid. And I love that for, yeah, because it's not. It's just, I don't think that's the strongest conclusion we could be at, basically, of strength of, yeah, not having deniability. Because, yeah, I saw somebody arguing, this one lady arguing that God is allowed to be mean And I mean, I guess that's valid too. But really, my main argument, and this is where you should really listen. Well, this is really telling of the belief system of where I get all my beliefs from, is I don't think that they Christians view God correctly. I think, especially they'll say how God is on the outside of time, basically, or outside of the universe. And I just argue that God is not touching the universe. God, and then okay, so my main thing. Let's say we have a computer programmer, and you'd have to know about programming. So I don't know if it's a good example, a good general example, but let's say you did, and I might try to come up with and it'll be better if I wrote this down. But a computer program that logically works together, an algorithm, and God is the creator, and that is the computer programmer, the creator, right? And then we see that he yes, he makes this 100,000 line code, and you're telling me you can just remove a line of code in the middle of, and then the code is supposed to represent the time of the universe and how all the atoms connect to each other and play off each other and how they interact with everything, right? And you can just remove a line from that code and think things still work. And yes, and it just so Jesus, I'm not for. Moses is a great example of where they think you can just remove whatever you want to remove and do whatever you want to do. And then I think I think that's one book in itself. I think another book would, see, I don't know how to get them down. Jesus. Okay, let's get him. Cool. That's how you get them down. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh, another good school of thought, probably another book in itself, would be how the Bible, I guess it's contradicting itself. That's not what I was about to say. About how this is what I was about to say. About how the Bible shows how they did not understand what we understand. I think it's weird to be a Christian in the secular, and I'm in a secular country, the United States. And this is a secular country, and they'll lead you to. Some people think it's a Christian country, which is funny. And the reason that their Christianity stands is because they're leaning on secular atheist beliefs. They're leaning on our beliefs. They'll try to lean on science when I would argue a Christian is not allowed to be scientific. That is ridiculous. This is ridiculous stuff we're talking about. But I would say a bunch of things, but with the other book, about how they did not understand science the way we did, and you can see in how they wrote that the plants on Earth came before the sun. You'll see these, and it's just interesting because yes, it's interesting to see your past and see how uneducated they were. Not uneducated, but how times have changed understanding. And see, this is good points. And I would need to do the research. I would argue that I did not do the research. This is just base knowledge, some dabbling in it. Like, I know some facts, some not dabbling. I would say I am a little bit deeper, but I would say deeper in, but I would say that I don't have the catalog of examples that I would need to even feel comfortable start writing in those books, even for my own world standing on its own. But yes, but these are basically some of the beliefs you'll find in the book of yeah, I think the main thing, my main becoming atheist would be Yeah, I feel like they disrespect God. And it's just like a fundamental understanding, because like, and you should understand of the God I'm talking about, of the God, the creator of, yes, it's misunderstanding that, um yeah, he's not touching things, he's not messing stuff up, he's not removing lines of code. What's a more accessible answer, example, besides coding, because people don't know coding, and that is understandable. And I guess well, no, not I guess, this is 100%. You can go to, and I don't even like agnostics, because what do you mean? They say you don't know, and then okay, this is the key difference of, this is why I feel like I need to make a channel, because I don't see my viewpoints represented, and that is, and I think they're good viewpoints, and so I want to represent myself. Um, that's the thing with the agnostic. They're even talking about a different God. He's saying, I don't know, he or she, but agnostic arts. And I'm talking about an agnostic I'm thinking of, which was a male. Um, and yes. So he was saying basically, he can't know if a God is outside our time and our universe, our time and reality, our universe, that made it, and he can't know that. And you see, it's so stupid, because arguing the whole wrong point. We're not even arguing about that type of God. That is like a whole different type of God concept. It's more modern too. Like, it's low key leaning on secular beliefs, leaning on atheistic beliefs, which is because it makes sense. That's why, and that's why they're allowed to do it, because it makes sense. But it's good to point that out. This is firm reasoning. But I would say that's not the God, the Christian God that they're arguing for, because at the end of the day, what it means to be Christian is belief in Jesus, and I don't believe in Jesus, so therefore, that was the end result. Even though I would have loved to be Christian still at that time, I would have loved to be Christian still, but at the end of the day, I don't believe in that type of God. And so, to talk back more about the agnostic, um, he's just, yeah, they're just saying that they don't know if God is if there was a creator, and that's not even the God they're arguing for. They're arguing for not only a creator, which is cool and all, especially outside our universe, but they're saying that this creator is violating the laws of physics and the universe, and violating these things, which he is not doing. And they're trying to say that, and like, to take it off of programming, like an author, let's say he writes, no, a movie. Let's say there's a movie, and he writes a author and director, and they write a movie, and you're just telling me it's. And I don't think that's a good example, because you can pull out a sentence and it still keep the coherent whole. I don't think. I think when we're talking about cells, about how they interplay with each other, and take an understanding, and accepting the idea that this is logical, and why are you way over here, and reliant on the whole, like, and especially, let's say, the atmosphere, how the atmosphere, it all relies on each other, and affects each other, and plays on each other, and all the particles, and all of that being consistent. And to say that a God can start ripping stuff out of that creation is inherently disrespectful, basically, of scientific theory, and what it means to be secular is important of to me, because yeah, that's just so automatically I can't be Christian with just having beliefs like that. And that's why I think once you become a proper atheist in my eyes, where you're not willing to start disrespecting creation, and I think computer programming, algorithm, to like, just if you don't know what algorithm is, that's a good summary of an algorithm of what computer scientists do. And just know that is actually my degree of what I want to go into. Um, and yes, to rip a line of code out, you get the understanding. It's more vicious than ripping out a book. Um, like I guess a page would be more, but than a line. But I feel like it's more, yeah, it'll just make the thing not work. And I think the universe is the first example of such a inner network of things. And to start, yeah, so it's just disgraceful to start ripping out physics and everything. And then yeah, so then we have some atheists, and they're talking about and this is Alex O'Connor. He's like, well, if Jesus had these followers and they died to say that he came back from the dead, and they died for it, and people don't die for what they know to be false. And I think that's just like taking us away from, it's a different point. And to have more insight in the situation, to already have this end framework of that Jesus did not rise, I would say to him, maybe they did. That's more probable. But at the end of the day, I think it's taking us off the main cause of how Jesus did not rise, and how that's disrespecting God. You see, this is why I feel like my viewpoints aren't instantiated. Why do they keep on going in houses? This is like the third time, because then the llama was in the house too, in this episode alone. But yeah, I just don't. I think they take it off discrediting Jesus too much. Like, you should discredit that, and go ahead, discredit Moses too. And then they'll start talking about good and evil, and they'll be like, without the Bible you can't be good. And it does take it off, and that's another argument, and I will contend with it. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's still disrespecting God at the end of the day. And then yeah, good and evil, low key, and then so they try to say science can't account for good and evil, and even though it has to, because that's the framework. It has to be logical. That's the framework that is true though. So do I have anything else to show you in this world? Yes. No, I don't know. Probably not. I think that's a lot of work done. But I did forget what I was saying. But yeah, they just take it off the logic of the situation, and then they're trying to argue. They just argue weird. Oh, good and evil. That's such a. First of all, they were doing mad evil. Just recently, 1900s. They were doing pretty reprehensible, especially for now. Yeah, they were. And then so atheists would be like, see, God's law is not consistent morality. God's morality is not consistent, to combat that point. And I think we're still taking off the main point. First of all, God's not doing what you're saying he's doing, and then you're trying to argue God's validity when sorry, he's not valid. He's not valid, especially the idea that you want to associate with him. Like who he is essentially, because what he did, what's God's validity is making Jesus come back from the dead. This is what Christianity is. Like, we're arguing points off of what it is, and they're interesting points. I think I need 5 more, I don't know. And yes, and to have time to explain that, especially with more examples of what I'm coming up with off the dome. But you can see I did my research. It's just I don't have my personal examples and like a catalog of my own videos of me putting it out there. It's easier to lean on examples. But I think, and you know, I think it's low key a little bit mean to just critique them for taking it off the point. I think I'm being a little bit mean about it and like focusing in on it more, especially with some good arguments like good and evil and stuff with those, because it just that's not the core to being an atheist. The core to being an atheist is understanding the logic of the universe. Um, you know, in my head, the core of, you know, that's not why we're atheists. But that could be a reason to enhance. That's like a reason after after this one. After, that's what I feel like. You know, how Christianity has built up good and evil, and has represented that idea, especially now, and is representing that idea, and how that is integrated into science and stuff, and how that plays on the culture and like sociology. Like, I understand that, but that has nothing to do with, like, absolutely nothing to do with if God is breaking laws. Yeah, and he's not. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. That's one thing about him. He just wouldn't. See, and that's why I wanted to call myself Christian still, because I love God, and I love me some logic. See, it's not even because I said that, and people will say that differently. They'll say I love Jesus, and when I love God, and they're talking about God that is low-key doing stuff for them and manipulating everything. He is not okay. Look it. And here's a this is the first example I came up with. I think that computer example is better, but this is the first example I came up with. He was like, well, I was like, my brain was like, so basically, if God can break physics, he can break physics. He can just make the sun disappear for 10 seconds and reappear it. And that has, and he could just do that. That's their God. That's not my God. My God is not like that at all. He would never ever do something like that. Something so against everything of physics. He would never. He would not. Why would you even say that about him? like, oh my God. But no. They say it about him because they don't know who he is. They don't know who he is, on why he would never, ever. But it's okay. Because at the end of the day, yeah. At the end of the day, this is what I get from it. I get from it that was a book, and especially with the internet, especially our future looks very bright in my my head. I am emotionally charged towards different views of the future that yes, I have emotional validity for some views of the future that make me think that it is overall going to be more positive, even if there are counter examples. But I am more emotionally connected to some examples I have of like more viewpoints where not only one, because then, okay, back to the book example of the book, where there's, yeah, so that was like intellectual, and it's, yeah, to not have that many viewpoints, it just makes more sense back then. And you see, that's like how Christianity has affected culture, and like, and yeah, the differences of the culture. See, that's a different, probably, like, area of study than if I'm gonna be Christian or not. See, Christianity doesn't even care about any of that. And yeah, and then a good point, I feel like I already turned atheist after that, but a good point from just reading the book, not to mention they don't even care about the Bible, they care about the New Testament. They don't even so see, and then, so since I grew up low-key a little bit secular, like, I wasn't in church every day. I knew my parents were Christian though, but wasn't in church every day. See different type of everybody got different experiences. So with being more distant from it, when I was becoming Christian and I was looking at Christianity, um, I decided to read from the New Testament. I did not cater to Jesus like that. I was on a different timing. So then it built up this idea of, my God, who would never, it allowed me to get into such a framework that I could fall into that, where, and this is what Emma Thorne's main point is, not main point, one of her greater points, where people are really trapped in that framework from childhood, and it's more sad, but okay. And so yeah, and one of my earlier examples, yeah, just physics wouldn't break like that, basically it wouldn't. And there are better examples than that physics one, with yeah. And then it was like this post where I was like, I would ask the genie, not I, but they were like, I would ask the genie to make the world's gravity stop for 1 second. And I feel like I would have to, like, for my channel, I would have to base those channel for my, I guess, the channel, TikTok page, they call it a page, for that display of online content. I would have to get better examples, I would feel like, of some of these examples. The computer example, real strong example of just technicality stake. Let's go to sleep because it's raining. But when you're talking about the planets and stuff, I think a good example is how logical it is. And plus, okay, here's another kicker. First of all, I can't even go to sleep. Here's another kicker for me. They're not even trying to argue for Jesus being in another universe, because then they're not even trying to argue for that. They're trying to argue that Jesus was in my world, on my earth, my logical 100% earth of logic, of even to where it's at, of the centimeter of the universe of where it's at, levels of logic of consistency that earth is performing. And then see, this is not contentious at all. It's just they try to I don't know, they try to lie to you. they do try to lie. They try to slip it in. But that is neither nor the point of, and I don't even think it's that deliberate. It's just, I guess, I don't know. It was easier to be accepted then, and then it's just showing how strong tradition is. But to talk about the validity of the belief, it would be, yes, they're trying to argue that he was on my beautiful, logical, consistent earth, where even magic, I need to get more I thought I did. Didn't I go to that Forest 4 cherry blossom? Didn't even have to, mind you. But yes, on my earth, crazy work. That did not happen. Of stuff that, this is penguins, of stuff that never happened. That is one of them. No, I couldn't do math. I was like, I need 4 or 5, and I was thinking I need more than 5, but no, I don't know. And even right then, no, I did not know how much I needed, to be exact. Like, I saw the circle, and I was like, ooh, that's confusing. It's not like 6. I was like, I'm just gonna get more. And I thought I got enough, and it just, oh, that's ugly. Oh, it's stairs. Okay. But yes. And I think that summarizes everything. It's more like a never-ending topic. Like, that's just what is wrong with me? That is just the basis of everything. I need 8, it said 6. Yeah, I need 8. I'm gonna run over there. I need more things. Cool. Look how fast you go with this Trident. Like, it's low-key super fast. Look how fast that is. But yeah, okay, we're almost done with time. But I think that's everything I would want to say anyway to validate the church. And then, it kind of goes back into that. Oh no, it kind of goes back into that Thunderstrike and stuff. Especially when I was like, let's talk about atheist views, and then the Thunderstruck. Yeah, of how that should not shake you at all, because let me tell you something. The way he would never of the pressure, just if you understand, see, such a scientific understanding that our modern day people have, make it so critical that you should see through that. And then our kids should not be so deluded, because it just gets to a point, but hopefully that goes away with the internet. I think so. Yeah. And then another belief before I end it, just an alien, like a Martian, just should be able to, like, he'll agree on physics, that's all. He'll agree that the world has always had gravity, and God, he'll say no, God would never ever disable gravity for a second. He'll never do that. You see how he'll never do that? On how he's not touching stuff. You see very demure, very, very, very poised type of God, of very, very, very consistent, my boy. Consistent, let me tell you. But yeah, and we won't. And okay, so I think we keep the church because of that church behind me. But I think that's everything. I think I should. Yeah. I think we're gonna end it here. And I put that there. I guess I'll do that now. I didn't do all the fences either. I didn't do everything. I wanted to make another portal, but a pretty nether portal. But I don't know. So yeah. I think I'm gonna make the atheist page tonight. I just don't know what I'm gonna name it. But I just know that there are a lot of people out there who are way less thoughtful of situations. And I think it would make things pretty easy. Why is it freezing? Okay. I wonder if that's on camera. It should be. It 100% is. Not 100%. I'm more 93. But yeah, type beliefs, type-ish. And I think it'll be very interesting. It's just there's so many of them, and they are crazy. Where's there it is. No, they're not crazy. This is what I would say about Christians. So logical that it blows me. It blows me away that they're so logical. As long as you're not talking about their not logical belief, then they become very, very scientific all of a sudden. All of a sudden they can do math, and all of a sudden they understand that things are consistent, right? And they'll even talk about God, and they'll be like, he's so consistent. Oh yeah, this is stuff that I'm gonna dissect on my other page. But okay guys, I'll see you later. I'll probably make another video where we get progress done. I don't know what I want to do, to be honest, but that's gonna be a problem for the next episode. Thanks for watching. Adios amigos.